Okie dokie, today I'm joined by these two vermin, Arnie and Reginald. I just made that up. Now, a few months ago, I was experimenting with crochet because I kind of got bored on, granny squares and all of the trendy stuff. I said, give me something new. This was before my vintage and antique obsession, is what I would call it now. This was a bit before that, so these were modern hooks, modern patterns, all of the sew. Now, I saw a YouTube tutorial for a little crochet beaded amigurumi heart. I said, simple. You've got half a sphere, half a sphere. Great, make that one, make another. 2 red balls. Join them by green, beaded line. Cherries. Amazing. Gave that to my friend because she loves key charms. Trust me, I made it. Anyways, and then I said, right, so you can take an ordinary pattern, add beads, phenomenal. Made this guy. Now, this guy was monumental in my life. I sat around on the floor making this guy for like an entire day. My now late rabbit was with me trying to chew on the thread. Great fucking times. Anyways, you can see he's multicolored, and that's because I didn't have enough tan beads to match the tan thread. I added in a few colors just to, make up for the absinthe. Now I'm thinking like an alcoholic. You can see the tan thread. It was a size 20 crochet cotton, and then beaded eyes, and then glued on nose. You make all of the limbs by themselves, and then sew them on. I think that's the trickiest bit because you can truly appreciate his wonkiness. Oh, you know what? Kinda. But yeah, made this guy, and then I said he is so cute, and made him this friend. Now these were vintage beads. They were from a charity shop. Original packaging with handwritten, information. Super duper cute and smell amazing. Lovely glass beads, and then size. That's 20 size 10 crochet cotton in white. White. And then I didn't add, face because we can see how that turned out. So it's just a nice little bow. And yeah, super cute. Had leftover beads, I said, they're gonna sit around if I don't use them. I made a snowman. He's got little arms, you know how it is, and then beaded eyes. His scarf needs some work, because that's just an abomination. You know what you could do if you need a little ribbon? You know when you have clothing, let's use a guy, you've got like the ribbon shoulder straps to keep it on your hanger. You could use that as a little ribbon, because sometimes you cut it anyways, it's in the way. But yeah, I made that, and I said, I'm on a roll. I've got to learn what I've got to learn, so I started, and I made a little coin purse. Nothing too extravagant, again, mixed beads. Mostly decent, but at one point, I think it's here actually, there's 2 beads where there's supposed to be 1 and 1 missing. Not my greatest work, but early days, forgive me. And then the tan cotton, which is absolutely awful. Anyway, and then I added a zipper. I sewed that in pretty neatly. And then if you want to see what the inside looks like, it looks like those frogs who birth their babies through their skin. This is what that looks like. Oh, it's not coming up as bad on camera. Are you seeing this? Oh yeah. And then I made a chain and just worked round and round. Didn't really do increases apart from the first few rounds, and then got this. I thought it was fun. I learned a few tricks from these things, and I'll share that right now. Stop looking at me. Okay. These are some long needles. And the kind you want is this. This isn't pointy, this is very dull. But what it is two wires, if you can see that, just closely put together. And this is called like a beading needle, I think. It's just a massive eye. Okay, we get the point. Anyway, use one of these because the eye from a normal needle is usually too thick. And then your thread on that as well. So this is super duper helpful for any beaded stuff. Okay, and then secondly, when you have a mistake, like when I have an extra bead in this, either on your line, no, don't do it with your finished work, that could hurt it, but on your line, when you have an extra bead, you can use fragility and pliers and just snap that bead, crush it. That's if you don't mind losing it. I did that a few times. Unfortunately, my thread cut because, you know how I am. But yeah, be very gentle and cautious, especially if they're glass. Maybe put like a napkin over or something. You can crush that sucker off if it's the wrong color, if it's whatever. That way you don't have to compromise your work and your continuous thread. Anyways, I thought that was very fun. And then working in your back loop. Now I made another one because I was experimenting with colors. Not very exciting, same method, which doesn't leave the colors very nicely set up, but that's on me. But working in the back loop gives it a lovely stacked effect. And you can see these beads aren't exactly the same size. They're all kind of low quality, if you may, but it really does give a lovely effect. And then the inside here, see, into the back loop. It just gives you a bit more height in case you're struggling. You can go both. I'm not your manager. Let me see if I can undo this to show you how the colors are sorted. And Victorians absolutely loved. You're seeing my struggle, good. They loved beaded crochet purses. And you would have floral designs. You would have tons of colors, scenery, so on. Okay. Very simple this is. This is all you do. You seeing this? That's all you have to do. And then you create something like this. So, beading and, making a lovely design is pretty easy. Just, these are all set up exactly how you see them here. But they do, shift along. That's with most crochet pieces anyways. So keep that in mind when you're designing something like this. Make sure to take into consideration the incline. Because you're not going to be working straight up unless... No. You have to work in the round if you're doing something like this. No unless. No unless. I was thinking back and forth. Don't know. It's too late for me to think. Now. I just have this with me. I made this on a bead loom. Oh my god, that's so nice. Oh, you're too precious. You're too kind. Thank you. I made Mrs. Clementine. I'm not too fond of her, but I've been told not to burn her, so... She was supposed to be a pumpkin, so that explains that. Beady eyes, we've got a theme. And she was supposed to be, because, Halloween, I was saying, let's go, like, pumpkins. And then it just looks like a little Clementine lady. She's got a basket full of flowers, a little bow. Made her clothing. I'll show you her bottom. There we are. You thought it was going to be weird. Little ruffles, and her body is made from cotton. And again, that tan thread. If it was orange, I wouldn't be happy, I know. But yeah, I thought this was cute, just testing, can you do part beaded, part non-beaded to make up for the beads you don't have? You can. Turns out a mess. And then finally, this is not beaded, but we're going to add it to the sacrificial pile. A whale. No, not your mother back in the 90s. proper whale. Now, this was when I was getting into bone hooks, and my bone hook was from bovine, but I do know some hooks back in the day were made from whale bones. We're talking like 1850-ish, okay? And then he was simple and plain, so I got some of this sequin ribbon. This is all just, ribbon sections long ways, sewn down across here too, and then sequins for the mouth. I just thought that was fun, just to jazz it up a little. And his eyes are just regular clear eyes, because they were pretty cheap. Instead of the coloured ones with just paper backing. And nail polish. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of nail polish. And then you can customize the eyes whatever colour you want. And it's safe because it's on the back side. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this assortment. We have all of this going on. We'll include that, bit of this, bit of that. But yeah, you can do bead amigurumi with any normal pattern. I think that is absolutely wonderful. And one day I would love to make more of these guys. None of that. But these guys, more animals, more colours, because they are way too cute and easy. You can get a free pattern, cheap beads, and it still looks great.